Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this, good evening. I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan, and today, Chall Chats, another DRFC daily reports, bring you the latest Doncaster Rovers news and speculation. In this video, we're going to be talking about some pretty big stories, training ground improvements, new staff for McCann. I will go through the full retained list. So, even though the title is somewhere on the sort of design or overlay of the video of the last video earlier this afternoon said retain list on it, that's part of part one. This is the actual part where it's actually on, so a bit of my mistake. I accidentally clickbaited you on that first part, but this is the retained list reaction. Along with talking about train ground improvements and some new staff coming in next season as well. I'll tell you what, I'll say it again. I said the same to Adam, and I'll say the same here. Don Grant, Don McCann, Grant Ancelotti, elite mindset. When you want something to help your club win the league, you get it. And the board are backing him, which is what I love to see. Please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. Let's get there as soon as possible, please. I do talk seriously about football. You know, all that Ancelotti McCann stuff is just a bit of a laugh and a joke. But I do have some serious stuff to talk about as well. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this video and let's talk about the latest from Doncaster Rovers, starting off with my reaction to the official released and retained list. So, of course, first of all, we have to talk about those that are staying. So, Maxwell, Wood, Westbrook, and Close, they already agreed new contracts. So, they already agreed their new contracts respectively. Maxwell, 2 years, Close, 2 years, Westbrook, 2 years, Wood for an extra year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a good season for Richard Wood this year for that extra year. Obviously, we also have to talk about those who are who have penned extensions triggered in their current contracts. So Faulkner is extended by a year. We knew that already. But Kulea and De Grucci have both extended as well. De Grucci, a very interesting one. I'd be interested to see how McCann plays him apart in this squad potentially next season at any point. Be interesting to see what happens there. Kulea, I didn't really get surprised about that one because I know this kid has a lot of potential. So I could see McCann really working with Kulea. Also, they transfer listed Deji Satona, which is, again, a bit of a surprise. But if he wants to get first team football elsewhere and McCann doesn't think he can play him next season for more regularly than he needs to, with the people that are going to be coming into that position, and the people who are still in that position from last season, the season just gone, then fair enough. If McCann's brought him in last season, looks at it this season and thinks you don't think he's going to play him much, get rid of him. And you know what? Again, elite mindset manager. Bringing your own player in with a bit of potential, didn't work out, don't think you're going to get much game time next season, out you go. Dedge is a great lad, don't get me wrong, and there's plenty of potential there. It just didn't work out, end of the day. So that's who's been transfer listed and who's staying, who's pending extensions. However, we now have to talk about those who, along with potentially Stona, departing the club. So first of all, Lo Tatala will be going back from his loan spell, as will Connor Carty, who's already back there anyway. Billy Waters will go back. We also know that Hakeem Adelakun will be going back. However, there's more on Adelakun, which we'll speak about in a moment. Tom Nixon will go back. However, we already know by now there is interest in him coming back permanently. So we have to just keep that one in mind. We also have to keep aware of the fact that along with Adelakun being talked to, Molyneux and Biggins have been offered potential offers to go back as well. So keep an eye on them as potential comebacks for the football club, and just keep a really close eye on that one. But that also means we have to say goodbye to some players. We have to say goodbye to Ben Bottomley, Charlie Seaman, Liam Ravenhill, who we know is at the subject of offers from at least one League Two club and a clutch of National League clubs. Tommy Rowe, very sad about that one. Absolute legend. I messaged him actually privately, you know, when the news came after the news story came out, a couple of days after the news came out. He was really kind about it. And, you know, I did my little video on social media about Tommy Roach to thank him for his service, etc. So, you know, all the best to him. If he comes back in a coaching role, then great. If he goes somewhere else to play football, then fair enough. It just wasn't meant to be. John Taylor will be leaving as well. Best of luck to him. Hopefully, again, like Tommy Rowe, try and get him on the show at some point next season. Maxime Biamu will not be signing a contract. Now, there's been a lot of talk from people about him potentially signing a short-term contract for his performances before he got injured. However, I said to people, and I stand by this, don't get me wrong, he did well in the time that he played. However, the injury record is the one thing that makes me doubt us going for him later on. And I think McCann made the smart decision here. Nothing against Biamu because he's a talented player on his day. I just think the injury record was too much. And I think with Miller back earlier than expected, along with Ironside, along with Jack Goodman, the youngster, I just don't think there's a place for Biamu anymore. So we don't sign him again. And Lavery, of course, goes. And of course, Billy Waters, we know already, goes back to Wrexham anyway. So some loanees going back, one or two maybe coming back on a permanent basis anyway. But there's players signed, there's players extending, and there's players leaving and player transfer listed as well. So then, that is your retained list. Am I happy with that? Absolutely. I think it was probably the right decision with them. I thought De Grucci was the biggest surprise, I'll be honest with you. And that's nothing against Jack De Grucci. I just felt like he could have got more first-team football elsewhere further down the pyramid. Maybe McCann sees something in him. Maybe it's a case of giving him this 1 year just to see what he does, how his season pans out, how much he actually gets involved. Do we need to keep him beyond that year? If not, he goes. So I think for Faulkner, for Kalea, for De Grucci, it's going to be a very important year for those three young players. I think a very important year for those three players. Obviously, great to see the contracts that have been penned already. Maxwell, Wood, Close, I agree with. Westbrook. Obviously, some departures I'm very sad about. Taylor, injuries just really cut him short at Rovers in terms of appearances over the 3 years he's been here. I mean, Taylor's a great player on his day, so all the best to him. Obviously, Tommy Rowe, absolute legend. McCann explained the situation in the interview over the last week. He had that conversation with Tommy. He wants to get better. He knows that. He understands that. And that's the way forward. There's a few players in there, obviously, that Rovers fans won't be sad to see go. Lavery, you know what? Fair play to Lavery. Fair play to Lavery. And I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for this on social media, but I really don't care. Lavery, fair play to him. He hasn't moaned about it publicly. He hasn't done anything publicly to really warrant us terminating his contract there and then. He just got his head down, tried to get back to the best of his ability training-wise, get back to full fitness. It just didn't happen for him here. Where he goes next, I don't know. I'd like to see him go back to Scunthorpe and maybe give it another crack there. Maybe help Scunthorpe get over the line under their next manager. Try and get over the line there and try and get back into the National League. Obviously, they missed out on in the semi-final, in their semi-final, I believe it was. Yeah, it was on penalties to Boston, who eventually won their playoffs in the North section. So I'd like to see maybe Lavery have a go back at Scunthorpe, maybe, if there's a space for him. Taylor, I mean, Shrewsbury's a potential option for Taylor. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one on paper with how long Taylor's been out in total across the 3 years or so. But for me, with him doing the charity game at Shrewsbury, getting back involved with that, I think that Shrewsbury could make a lot of sense. Tommy Rowe, obviously the obvious one locally being Stockport. There's Rochdale maybe as an option for Tommy Rowe. I still think League 2 / top end National League will be his kind of options in terms of playing again. So maybe Rochdale's an option. It's hard to think on the spot really of any other options. I think Rochdale's obviously going to be up there locally as one of the more in the area kind of options for me personally anyway. Obviously, Bottomley, I think will go down to the likes of Cleethorpes Town, that kind of level, really get some first-team football there and really build his career back up again. He's still at a young age, Ben Bottomley, so I don't think he'll be, shy of minutes down there and really build his career back up and give himself a chance to break through again. Ravenhill, I said this on the first video, I think Darlington could be an option. Sheffield, Scarborough, Scunny, Boston United, Grimsby if you're going to go for a League 2 club. So there's options aplenty for these players, and me as a Doncaster Rovers fan, and me here on Chall Chats, and every single Rovers fan wishes them all the best. Molyneux, Biggins, and Adelakan contracts offered is great to see. However, Will I be too sad if all three of them miss the deadline and leave? Not really, because I trust Grant McCann to replace them with the right talent. McCann was very, very specific in his comments in the media over the last few weeks about contracts. You set a deadline. If you don't reach that deadline, you're out of the door. You're taking too long, and bringing a replacement that's just as good, if not better. And it's not like one of those situations. I'm not being disrespectful here, but it's not one of these situations where it's Luke Molineux or it's no one at all. There's no one better than Luke Molineux, no one better than Adelaide, and no one better than Biggins, because there is. Um, obviously, me personally, I'd love all three to come back. I'd love all three to come back. Adelaken's the least likely. I think he'll go to a League One club, someone like a Mansfield. But by the way, Mansfield, fair play for that signing from St Mirren, that Keenan Bakers from Australia who just come out of the World Cup. Brilliant signing. So yeah, I think Mansfield could be a signing for Adelaide. I think Biggins could suit Mansfield as well. I think he could suit Mansfield to a T in that midfield, and I think that'll give him a really quality midfield as well. I think Adelaide could be good for Mansfield. He could also do well in maybe a Stockport side. I reckon that could be a good move for him if he doesn't come back to us. I think Burton could be a good move for Adelaide. I'll be perfectly honest. I think if Burton keep with the winger system, you sort of go with the winger type system. I reckon Adelaide could fit in perfectly there, but only if they go with the winger type system. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Adelaide. I could also see Adelaide going to somewhere in the high end in Scotland, Scottish Premiership, Scottish Championship, maybe. So again, I think that's an option for Adelaide. For Molineux, I mean, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one because there's some good clubs out there that he could go to if he doesn't end up signing for us, especially in League One, because it's going to be League One if he goes anywhere. So there's plenty of options there for me. But preferably, I want Molineux to sign. I want hopefully Adelaide to sign. Biggins, I'd love to sign, but again, I think with the signing of Joe Sabara, I just feel like, as I said in the Sabara video, I think there could be a lack of game time for Biggins in that role, and I just don't think he'd enjoy I don't think he'd enjoy next season. Obviously, if he's earned his start in some games, then fair play. But for me, I just think Sabara starts in that position at least week in, week out. Westbrook comes in when needed as an impactful player. He's still good enough to be that impact player. Westbrook for me is a class player on his day, and that attacking midfield role's got some serious competition now. I think DeGrucci signing that 1 year extension makes him that third choice in that role. So you've got DeGrucci's third choice if he don't get loaned out. You've got Westbrook as second choice, in my opinion, and Sabara starts week in, week out for me in that number 10 shirt, in my opinion, as well. So yeah, I just don't see Biggins staying, especially with the signing Sabara. I think Biggins will probably go. I don't think we'll keep Adelaide either. I think Molineux's the more likely of the three to stay for me. But let's get into some more stories. We took too long on the retain list already. Let's go into the next story, and this is on some more improvements, and that is on the training pitch. So here's a rundown, according to the Free Press, of what is set to be improved with the training ground. The current gym and medical facilities will both be revamped with upgrades to the current site. A brand new building will be going up in replacement of the existing portable building that houses the gym. I have been walking past that gym when I did the Eves Trust Charity Legends match filming last year. I did walk past that many, many times we were training at Cantley Park, and it looked good from what I could see from the outside. I sort of caught a glimpse through the door. It looked good. It needed improving, and I'm glad to see that's finally happening. The hope is that a step up in the quality of the facilities, according to the report, will benefit the whole club, with players having more room and not be as cramped in their current setup. The pitches at Cantley Park are already being prepared with next season in mind and will be relayed in plenty of time for when the players return in late June for pre-season testing. Grant McCann made his stance known about it, saying the following: "It's about making the place look nice for everybody. When you think about it, it's a nice training ground for League 2 level, but we don't want to be at League 2 level. We want to be better than that." We had a chat, myself and David Rennie, head of medical, with Gavin Baldwin, and Terry Bramall, to improve the facilities down there. It just improves everything and gives everyone a shift in mindset that we mean business. We don't want to stand still. We want to be doing better than what we've been doing. And that'll be massive for not only the first team players, but the under 18s and even the rugby lads. That facility change down there, a bigger gym, more space, it'll be massive. My manager, my Don, my Grant McCann, absolute certified GM, elite mindset. Elite mindset. That's what I want from a manager at Doncaster Rovers Football Club. That's what I've been wanting from the owners. That is exactly what I like to hear. That's exactly what we want to hear. Upgrades, improvement, investment, recruitment, everything to improve the football club from the ground up. This is what we're talking about. I love this manager. I love Terry Bramall. I love Gavin Baldwin. I love this club till I die. And that is what I'm talking about. It sounds great, the improvements around Cantley Park. A lot of fans complained about the Cantley Park training pitch, putting that as a reason towards some of the injuries. David Rennie comes in, head of medical, injury list goes down. I hear nothing about Cantley Park after that. But I swear to you, that is massive. Great to see the improvements being done. Great to see upgrades being done on the infrastructure of the football club. And that is what I'm talking about. That's how you improve the club step by step. That's how you keep it going. And you know what? Some fans don't know this, but it takes a lot to maintain that stadium. It takes a lot of money to improve the pitch. It takes a lot of money to make upgrades around the stadium, upgrades on the training pitch. And you know what? We're splashing the cash now. It's great to see the chairperson slash owner of the football club, Terry Bramall, splashing the cash where needed. And that was the infrastructure and the recruitment to try and get us into a position where Grant can turn around and say, we are going to win this league, which he has done. He turned around and said, after that semi-final defeat, we're winning the league next year, or we're going to go and win the league next year, or aim to win the league next year. And anyone who doesn't think that can go and find a new club, because I'm telling you something now, that right there is an elite mindset. That right there is an elite manager. And that, to all the opposition fans out there questioning why we didn't question this manager when we were near the bottom two, halfway through the season, we didn't question this manager because we knew what he was capable of long term. We knew what the club was capable of long term, and we backed the process. We believe in the process. We trust in the process. And yes, some people may say it's a PR and a buzzword and a dopamine in our brain. But I'll tell you something now. We believe in this process. We trust and back in this process to the very end. When everything went flat, when the results went down, when we were down there near the bottom two, we still believed in the turnaround. And we were rewarded with an upgrade and an instant return of injured players, with a flurry of January signings, despite the financial penalty by the Football League for Todd Miller's loan payment last season being late, with that financial person now being sacked from the club. After all of that, with everything that went on through January onwards, we believed and we were rewarded. And now Grant McCann is pushing us from fifth to aim for first. The aim is first. And we know for a fact that other clubs will aim for first as well. We know that. We're not stupid. We're not thick. We're not crossing the road down to Loopy Land. We know that. But the way we show to be the ones to win the league, to be the ones to show that we will be up there to win the league and we are not going away, is you show ambition. And that's what Terry has done. That's what Gavin's always done. That's what Grant has done always. That's what the players and the staff are doing. And that's what every single person at this football club is doing and has done. And we're seeing the reap of the rewards of that ambition. It upgrades to Cantley Park. And as well as that, we've also got some brand new staff coming. So let's analyse the new staff coming into Rovers next season. So obviously we know that Matt has left as kit man. Best of luck to you, Matt. All the best to you, mate. Hope you do well with the new family and all the best to you, pal, for the future. So we know that the kitman role will become available. We know that role will be available to someone before the start of next season. However, Grant McCann has made a statement on the on-pitch staff also, the rest of the on-pitch staff also, and has said this: the club have been great to let David Rennie bring in an assistant physio, so that's one through the door. There'll also be more sports scientists coming in too to make us better, and so the players will get what they need and everything's more smoother. I will say it again, back your man, back your manager, elite mindset, Grant McCann, Grant Ancelotti, Don McCann, everything you can think of. That right there is what you call an elite manager. That's what you call a manager who wants to win things. No matter how much it costs, improve what you have, upgrade what you have, in and around the football pitch, outside of the football pitch, and the results will come. Doncaster Rovers are setting themselves up for a pretty good season next season off the pitch and with the recruitment so far on the pitch. Obviously, we haven't even kicked a ball of next season yet, and League Two, for me, is still the most competitive league in English football. Anything can happen, anyone can beat anyone. It's going to be a rollercoaster ride next season, but we are setting ourselves up for the best possible chance of succeeding next season. I can guarantee you of that. This news is big. Assistant physio is great for David Rennie. He does some fantastic work. I saw him at the last home game. I thanked him for everything he did. And he was really appreciated for that. So thank you very much, David Rennie. It's great to see an assistant physio being brought in. More sports scientists as well. The head of sports science, Sam, he does a fantastic job. And it's great to see more sports scientists being brought in to help him and help improve that department even more. And so Sam and his team can get started on some fabulous work over pre-season and over the summer break as well. So again, some wonderful news there from the staffing side of it. And again, everything just points to Doncaster Rovers having a fantastic season next season. But again, it's very Doncaster Rovers to have a very hard season because we do it the hard way. So we can't determine exactly before a ball's even been kicked what the season's going to be like, but we're putting ourselves in a very good position to have a very good season next season. We just need to turn that PR and positivity into results now next season, and I've got the confidence we'll do it. It's just whether we actually do it or not. That is the prerogative we have to sort of roll around in our brains between now and the start of the season. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. It's a bit of a longer one, this one. Stay tuned for more videos over this week. I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now. That's full time. Mean that badge to you.